Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, with Michele, the project manager at Farmingdale Animal Hospital, and you have a new idea. Can you tell me about that?
Well, we are hoping to expand our practice.
Mm-hmm.
So I just did a couple of layout drawings to see which is the best way to fit our expansion.
Okay. Expand like getting another property, or you're just getting more people?
Both. Actually, we're hoping to expand the hospital because we are at limited capacity right now. We are actually at maximum capacity. So we need more room to be able to help more people and bring in more animals.
All right, so you're getting the property next door?
We're hoping.
What's next door right now?
Right now, it's a vape shop, and unfortunately, it's not doing well. I certainly don't wish bad upon anybody, but he does say he has another vape shop somewhere else that's doing great.
Okay.
So I don't feel that bad because at least he's got it getting that store.
And this way, at least instead of, I don't know exactly how bad they hurt people's lungs, but instead of doing that, and you're able to help some animals, I'm much more into that aspect of it.
Right.
Does it have a basement?
I don't think so.
No.
Backyard.
Okay, I know you said one of the places near you has a basement, and it's almost like a speakeasy. Like they have a
That's
whole bar.
A bar across the street.
Oh, it's actually a bar.
Oh, right. No. I was talking about one of the stores, but that's just the guys that. While they're working, they go back and knock a few back.
All right. And you've been in this career field for how long?
Almost 20 years.
Okay. And what made you get into it?
I've always loved animals. Growing up, my mother used to say all the time that the strays in the neighborhood would follow me home. And that's true.
Because like the Pied Piper?
Yeah, I was like the Pied Piper. Yeah. I just always loved to be around animals, and I love them. And as I was growing up, I realized that Long Island has such a problem with homeless cats, and I always knew that I wanted to do something with that, but I never knew exactly what to do or how to help or how to combat the problem. And it just kind of, I went to a meeting at a town hall one day about 20 years ago, and I met Dr. Senk, who was sitting behind me, and she is, the person that led me to this career, and I still work with her now 20 years later to this day.
Okay, so what is your best advice? Like, what is the best way to combat homeless kitties?
Get your animals spayed and neutered, please. If you see cats outside that are in your yard, get them spayed and neutered. You don't have to like animals. You don't have to like cats. Just have some compassion and don't let them breed.
I feel like that would even appeal to people that hate animals. But you could get them spayed and neutered. There's no more of them that way.
You would think that the people that hate animals and complain about all the ferals and strays that are running around in their yard would just get them fixed, just so that they wouldn't have that problem. But instead, I hear horror stories about how they're poisoning them and shooting them with BB guns and things like that.
Oh, they don't even go with harder bullets. They just I guess it would kill them. They're really small.
I think the worst is the poison. They put out rat poison and disguise it, and that's a horrible death. And I just don't understand why any rational human being would want to even hurt an animal like that. It just doesn't make sense.
That's one of those things where they don't have to see it. They just do it, and then it's done, and they don't really have to think about it. I think if you gave them the choice, they would do that 1,000 times over. Or if you gave them the choice to actually pay them to actually kill an animal bare hands, I bet they wouldn't do it. Most people are pussies. They're not.
I would, that's actually not a bad comparison. I would hope that they wouldn't do that, because that would be, something that the FBI would want to think about for future serial killers. But
that's true.
I just think that people that even poison or put out poison, it costs less to get the animal fixed than it does to keep laying out poison.
That's just people being lazy.
And it's just it's lazy, and it's just there's something really wrong with you mentally. So anybody out there who thinks, I'll just lay out poison, there's something wrong with you mentally to think that that's okay.
So where do people draw and I definitely do want to get back to the homeless kitty problem, but where do you draw the line of, okay, I love dogs and cats. I worked in the field for a few years before I was in the military. But depending on what culture you're in, if you're in China, they eat dogs and cats. Where do you draw the line of, this is not good to kill these animals, but it is kind of okay to eat these animals because I eat them?
I know that other countries and cultures, they have different views about the way that they treat animals. I've never been to China. I do understand that it is quite the delicacy over there to have a cat or a dog.
Is it a delicacy, or is it just...
or just
Well,
dinner.
that's what
I,
they do.
I don't know. I don't know. Either way, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But and then I think about people from other cultures that come to this country and where they're coming from. Their dogs are just running wild in the street and having babies and things like that.
Wow,
And
that's
a
true.
lot of that's the way that they were raised, where they were. But when you come here and you want to assimilate here to the United States, where we have a whole different respect for animals and animal welfare, you want to be an American, you want to live in the United States, and you want to learn the cultures here. That's part of it. It's part of it. I mean, you look at how these animals are coming into the hospital and they're beaten up and they're ripped apart and their eyes are hanging out and their teeth are hanging out and their legs are dangling and things like that. It just doesn't rationally make sense to me, where we have all the opportunity to fix that, why anybody would allow that to happen at this point. It's 2020. Get it together.
I agree with your point 100%. I love to donate a lot to charity, like ones that you work with, Pit of Our Souls. Yeah, and then this other girl I dated, Laura. I don't know which one she works for. She just does TNRs, traps, neuters, release for a bunch of cats. But forget where I was going with this. Oh yeah, some people that I'm just say from South America, just because that's where I'm from. Up until like 2000, again, it was 20 years ago, but they didn't have dog food there until like early 2000s, just because
dogs ate scrap, whatever.
Yeah,
was on
like
the
people
plate.
didn't go to the doctors. So I'm just again not condoning what they're doing here, just kind of saying where they're from. But getting back to the homeless kitty situation, in your view and opinion, has the problem gotten worse or better since 20 years ago?
That's tough. I think that the problem was basically even keel up until the pandemic, because I think when Cuomo announced that he just wanted essential services for animal hospitals, that people stopped doing TNR. I think that the explosion was unexpected. I think that all the hard work that all these trappers have done over the years has now gone to shit. I really do think
so
that.
in one swipe of the pen.
One swipe of a pen, I think we are now back to square one. Like I've said before, when I did the calculations at work, Farmingdale Dog and Cat since March has spayed and neutered over 630 cats.
Oh.
Now the nonprofit that I have, Fixing Felines, we also had some days that we did those also. So if you want to add those days in, we're talking about over 800 cats.
So it's like 130, 150 a month since March.
Math was never my strong suit.
Okay, yeah,
I can just tell you the balance.
That's a lot.
It's ridiculous that there are that many cats out there that are not fixed. I just don't understand what's happening.
So with this expansion that you're doing, is the bulk of it going to be going to more of that, or is it just the hospital operations as normal?
I think it has to go to both, because we can't do we can't do as many TNRs that we do without expanding the hospital. The reality is that TNR is not a profitable adventure or venture, whatever you want to call it. It's not profitable. So we need the actual low cost services that we provide for basic wellness and sickness and things like that, to help subsidize what we're using for the TNR.
Right, so kind of like when a for-profit takes a profit and gives it to the nonprofit that they're doing on side. Okay, that makes sense. Right. So what laws, if any, okay, I'm not really up to snuff with them, do you think could be passed now to make things better?
I think that anybody adopting an animal is mandatory. It has to be spayed or neutered. I think that anyone that has, I think puppy mills should be shut down right off the bat, because there's so many dogs in shelters that need homes. If people want to buy a dog or get a dog, save one before you get one reproduced. And the same with cats. It's just, I wouldn't know. I have absolutely no idea how you would get it mandated that if you want to get a cat, you have to have it spayed or neutered, because some of these cats are just finding in the street.
Yeah, that's true too.
But, hoarding situations need to be cracked down on. My nonprofit is working on a house right now on Fire Island that, this
so many
one lady, in this little bungalow has 40 cats.
There's a bunch of strays over there too.
Like how does that happen? Because people are negligent.
Wow. But I guess part of it's negligent. Part of it's, I think, really mental disease and mental illness.
Absolutely.
So, Absolutely.
But there also has to be a lot of people around that who have seen that transpire, and that should have been, I don't know, it's hard for me to judge. I don't want to judge, but I just feel like that's something that should have been worked on a long time ago, because 40 cats don't appear overnight.
No, that definitely takes a while.
The amount of cats that are running around Fire Island right now, it's disgraceful.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I saw that. I went to Fire Island twice. The first time I didn't know there were. I thought it was all just one Fire Island.
That was one Fire Island.
And then I went to like the gay part, which was fine. That was fun as fuck. But it was just. And then I went to the other. And then I went to the other. I don't want to say normal. The
like Kismet, Ocean Beach.
Yeah, but both islands there was stray kitties.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, and at first like, oh, kitties, but then as I'm thinking about it, like, oh, all right, yeah.
And what happens to them in the winter? It's freezing.
Oh God.
You know what happens to? I mean, over the summer, I don't know if you know, I did in one of my cat traps ended up catching a baby fox, about 4 months old baby fox.
Oh, I didn't know we had foxes around here.
Fire Island.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And the poor thing was completely covered in mange to the point where his eyes were closed. He couldn't even see. He kept looking at me like this.
What did you do at that point?
I got him in my trap. I brought him home. I brought him on the mainland, brought him on the ferry, across the ferry, onto the mainland.
Can you do that? Like, going on the ferry with the animal?
Well, I didn't, hold him up and say, everybody, I got a fox in my bag here. I just I think only one person realized it was a fox. I remember when the sheep blew up, I just kind of like pushed the sheep back on. I was like, there's nothing to see here, folks, nothing to see here. And the fox now is doing phenomenal. He's doing great. He could see. I mean, he's doing fantastic in a rehab. But my point is, Fire Island has probably some of the wealthiest people in New York. How are they all walking past these animals that are clearly in dire straits? And it's just like, ew, that animal's dirty, or ew, that's not our animal. How do you spend that much money in your life to go on vacation and be out there paddleboarding and surfing and this and that and everything with the beach and having a great time, and step over an animal that is clearly in need? I don't get that. I just can't rationally understand that. So when I realized that there was a fox out there, was because I heard a little girl say, "Mommy, look, a dog." And I heard the mother say, "That's not a dog, that's a coyote." And I was kind of sitting there trying to trap a cat, and I thought to myself, there's coyotes on here? And then I heard like this little noise next to me, and then I looked over, and it's this baby fox, and he's completely full of mange.
Oh, man.
I'm like, how do you walk past that?
I mean, well, one, the lady thought it was a coyote, so she probably thought it was like dangerous. It had like a disease or whatever.
Yeah, because people are ignorant. They don't know, right? They don't know everything.
I'm agreed, and also like
but other people saw those animals. They see those animals like that all the time, and no one does anything about it. And I don't get that.
I mean, I think it's similar to the situation in New York City, where there's homeless people everywhere, and you acknowledge it. It's a homeless person going on to Tina Fey, going to get drinking.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's just like when they're going about your day. On Fire Island, everyone's drunk and probably high on something, and
money.
Yeah, I guess money, but just one, you're inebriated when you're seeing that, and then two, you just think like, oh, kitty, and then I mean, if you see it like, ooh, that doesn't look so good, and then you just go on. Going. I mean, also people, I think they don't know what to do. If they look people with more informed, like, hey, there's a service I can call, and if it was something that I guess was taught in school or something that you see like a commercial for. Speaking of which, I know this is a big project you're working on, expanding the hospital that you're in. Do you have a 5 to 10 year plan, or is this just it for the immediate future?
Well, one of the things that I started a couple of years ago was this nonprofit called Fixing Felines, which I just want to get back to what you said about the homeless. My friend Greg actually mentioned that to me the other day. So these are the same people that walk past the homeless, and I understand that, and I know that there's homeless shelters out there, and there are people, working on the homeless shelters and things like that. I just don't think that there's enough people working for cats, and that's my calling. And one of the things also with the homeless is that I firmly believe 100% that the people that are out there living homeless in the streets or in shelters and things like that, I would say the vast majority of them are war heroes, whether it's Vietnam or Gulf or whatever war it is, that they can no longer cope, and they weren't given the proper VA resources that they needed to adjust back into a normal life after they've been involved in the war. Right. I could be wrong, but that is my belief. Besides, the regular mental illness and the fact that they closed down a lot of the mental hospitals, where are these people supposed to go? So I do understand that. But getting back to Fixing Felines, the nonprofit, one of the reasons why I started that was because, as we said, we touched upon kids coming from different cultures or countries or people that don't value animals the way that we do. What Fixing Felines does is one of my co-workers in that group, she's a teacher in a low-income school district.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do is show those kids
Oh,
what it's
perfect.
like to work with animals and take care of animals and become doctors and surgeons and veterans, vet techs, and all these kind of things, to let them see that, number one, this is the way that we're supposed to treat animals and how we respect them. And number two, that this is a future that you could have if you stay in school and do the right thing, because that's an opportunity that they're not going to get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Some of them, they go home from school and, they're hanging out in the street, getting involved in drugs and gangs and things like that. Come with us. Let us show you how to work with animals.
Yeah.
All these different areas that need help. And, and that's one of the things that I'm passionate about. So I just want to continue that and keep that going.
How many people do you have working for Fixing Felines right now?
Well, most of us are volunteers.
Okay.
So it all depends on the day. I mean, I could have anywhere from, I say pre-COVID, we probably had about 10 of us working.
Okay.
And now, because of COVID, there's probably 4 of us working.
Okay.
Because we can't have the kids around, especially, just cracked my knee.
Ooh.
You heard that?
Yeah, that was awful.
Especially because some of these areas, there are extremely high COVID cases there. So we
Gotcha.
can't, unfortunately, have the kids around.
I wonder, because I feel like kids are the ones that are like least at risk about it. Do you think could you ever, if you had like waivers, had the parents and the kids sign waivers? Like, listen, my kid is healthy, they're just going to shit it out if they get it.
No, I'm sure they are, but then I have to think about the adults that work at the hospitals.
Oh,
like
okay.
myself, I'm high risk. My mother's high risk. God forbid I could catch anything and then I give it to my mother.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I can't take that risk.
No. What is something that Fixing Felines needs the most right now? Is it beds? Is it money? Is it people?
A bigger hospital.
Big hospital? Okay. All right, so that's something that...
Yeah, more doctors, more surgeons, more, yeah.
Okay. And as far as advertising for it, have you done any marketing campaign for that yet?
We did, probably the first year we did a lot, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was word of mouth, but we are completely swamped with calls.
Okay.
There's more animals out there than we have the people that can help them.
Gotcha.
So I have no idea how that happened. I'm grateful. If I had some wood, I'd knock on it. I don't know how it happened, but it did.
Okay.
At this point, I don't even advertise anymore because I don't have the space to put these patients in. So I don't want to tell people, come to our business, and then say, but it's going to take you about 3 months to get an appointment.
Yeah. So when do you think the new part or expansion of the hospital will be up and running?
That's tough. First I have to set the proposal out to everyone and and say, I think this is a good idea. This is what we need to do. This is what we were discussing earlier. I'm hoping by next summer, I'm hoping that this gets done during the winter, because once we get into March, that's our busy season.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to explode, and I want to be prepared for that.
Okay. What are the main roadblocks in your way right now?
Oh, my corporate company.
Okay. So they're, are they against expanding because they have to pay more taxes? Now it's another building?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think that they just want facts and figures and which I understand, things that a corporate company would ask for. They want guarantees. They want numbers. They want dollar amounts. They want hours. They want revenue. They want all kinds of logistics. I just want to do it. Go. Let's go. I just want to get up in the morning and go, open those doors. That's what I want to do.
And you've been in this field for 20 years now. You could absolutely not answer. It's okay. How old are you right now?
52.
Okay, you look great.
Oh, thank you.
there's no lines, right? Even when you smile. Nope. I need your blood.
and no Botox.
That's fantastic. How long do you think you can keep it up for?
Ooh,
because I had to get out because it's taxing on like your knees and your back and.
That's a good question.
Your feels.
I think I don't do the physical work as far as my younger technicians do, as far as on the ground with these animals, wrestling around with them. I do help out every once in a while, but not like I used to. I'm more involved in the financial aspect of it, in the paperwork of making the appointments, the schmoozing, letting the public know who we are, what we're doing, getting those appointments in. I'm more on the back end now.
Okay.
But physically, you're absolutely right. There are days where when I do work physically in the field, in the morning when I get up, I can't get out of bed. People don't realize how physical it is.
You gotta take fish oil. Fish oil.
Fish oil
helps me so much. Like it like everything still hurts, as I take it, but on days that I don't take it, it's like, oh my god, these are all. And it takes a couple days, but
it's hard because I have arthritis. I've always had arthritis my whole life, so I always have like a painful, especially when it rains or gets damp out and things like that. So it's hard for me to differentiate between the dampness of the weather and just the amount of work that I'm doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What are you doing? Sorry, there's somebody in the background.
The Trump boat.
So I know you work in there's low income stuff that you do. So you work relatively in a low income area.
Well, our hospital is considered low cost or affordable care.
Okay.
However anybody wants to phrase it.
So obviously during COVID you had to slow down, and then
we didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
We got hit very hard during COVID, very hard. And I think I was trying to figure this out the other day. I think because we are a low cost clinic, people were looking to spend maybe less money on their animals than they would go to their full service vets. But I mean, considering we're low cost and affordable care, or whatever you want to say, I'm amazed at the amount of Mercedes and Teslas that pull up in front of our hospital.
Teslas there?
Yeah, the other day, a Tesla pulled up, and he actually had the audacity to ask my technician, "Do you know how to open the door to a Tesla?" She was like, "No, sir, I do not know how to open the door to a Tesla."
For those that don't know, the door handles aren't there. You have to push them, and then they pop out. Really cool.
Like, get over yourself. As we take, your your $2,000 cat that you just bought.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you. Meanwhile, there's people that there's a little old lady in Wyandanch that I have helped for over a year with her ferals, and this lady, she's fighting cancer, and she said that her only dream was to make sure that all her ferals were fixed before she passes.
Oh man.
And this lady doesn't have a pot to piss in. I'm over there in my own car, going over there, trapping these cats for her, bringing these cats back. My nonprofit, she wanted 2 in particular. I ended up catching 5. My nonprofit paid for the 3 because I didn't think it was fair for her to pay for it. She didn't want those 2. Not that she didn't want them, but she was really focusing on the other 2. But I'm not going to release ones because they're not the ones that she wanted. She paid for the 2. I paid for the other 3. The nonprofit did. And that's what the whole point is, that we're trying to help these people. And then, this guy pulls up with a Tesla. He's like, "Hey, you know how to open this door?" Go fuck yourself.
So, I know this would be probably impossible. I don't know if it's legal to do so. Also, obviously, if someone's financial situation, like that lady in Wyandanch, you don't have a lot of money if you're living there. I think. And if you see someone in a Mercedes or a Tesla, they're like, "Sir, can I see your bank statements?" And then, if they have a certain amount of money, and just charge them more.
No.
Because if it goes by income, and someone's on a fixed income, charge them less, and if they have a lot of money, charge them more. Is that something that you think is feasible?
No. First of all, I wouldn't want to see anybody's bank statements. It's none of my business, number one. Number two, I also feel like if it was down to something like that and they gave me their bank statements, I'd probably get annoyed. So I don't want to aggravate myself. But no, I really don't care what people make. I really am just there for the animal, and it is what it is. There's nothing that I can do about it. Who knows? Maybe they bought that Tesla when they were doing great, and now they're close to bankruptcy. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in people's lives. Yeah. I just think it's just really bizarre when they show up. They show up in a car like that, and they're like, "Did you charge me for a nail trim?" Get the fuck out of here. It's $14. You'll be fine. It's $14. Yeah, you'll be fine. It's $14. I'll pay you $14, okay?
Prices have gone down since the last 10 years. That's great. Good for you guys.
We try.
All right, so you have... I know you said you don't really want to advertise right now, but as far as links and where people make donations, you have a PayPal or a website?
Fixing Felines of LINY.com. We do have a GoFundMe for Fixing Felines. And I tell people all the time, if you want to make a donation to either Fixing Felines or Farmingdale Dog and Cat, you can certainly call either one at 631-694-5454 or 631-439-5796. Either way, the donation will go to where whether it's either Fixing Felines or Farmingdale Dog and Cat. Either way, it will go to a good cause.
I'll have a link down below for that.
Oh, a little fun fact: Tina Fey, Tina Fey, just donated to Fixing Felines the other day.
Oh my God, that's amazing!
Yeah.
And it was from the GoFundMe, or
no? She actually, because of the cats that we're working on Fire Island, somebody put out a bulletin saying that if you can help raise money for these stray cats. She called the hospital and spoke to my receptionist. Said that she wanted to make a donation, and my poor receptionist, she's so cute. She's like, "Did you want to leave a name?" And she says, "Oh yeah, you can tell them that it's Tina Fey." And my receptionist was like, "Oh, that's so funny. You have the same name as And
oh, that's great.
Tina was like, "No, it's actually Tina Fey." And I know where she lives on Fire Island, so I knew it was definitely her.
Oh, that's great. We have to talk off camera about that.
Yeah,
I love her.
My receptionist was like, "Wait a minute. Tina Fey? Tina Fey? Tina Fey?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's Tina Fey." Like, not your assistant? She's like, "No, it's really me."
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cute. So she donated the cost of taking care of 2 of the animals. And we're very grateful for that.
That's great. How much was that, if you can say on there? I don't know.
Well, somebody put on the bulletin that it was $160 per cat, but actually, it's actually between $180 and $200 a cat. So Tina did the cost of 2 cats, which was $320.
$320.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, of what she thought was 2 cats, because that's what she was told. But
okay, but you said it's between actually $160 and $180.
Right, because if we're adopting them out, we want to get their fecals tested, and we want to check them for feline leukemia.
All right, so $360 would be the actual.
So no, yeah, it's what it should have been for 2. Right.
Okay.
Right. So.
All right. So Tina Fey, I'm calling you out because I'm going to donate $360 as soon as this is done. So fuck you, Tina Fey. Get on my level. Go and beat me. Go and beat me. I fucking dare you.
Sorry, Tina. We appreciate it though.
Yes, all the links will be down below, and I wish you the best of luck. If you need anything,
Thank
all
you.
means let me know. I even told Mark there if similar to when this is weird trend in my mind, but I promise it's gonna make sense. One day, I don't know if you ever read the X-Men comics.
No.
Okay, so one day, like Wolverine, he had all the adamantium sucked out of his body, and he just started becoming primal again, and he started like hunting rabbits and like raccoons because that's just what he ate. And then he says to Professor X, like, "I'm going to stay in the woods in case you guys get really desperate. You can call me." So I told Mark, if you guys are absolutely out of like people to work for you and there's no one there, I'll do it for one day because that's all my knees can take. Give me a call. I'll go back to my old job as mostly just kennel boy, but I can still hold. I can do whatever stuff.
I could have you do all the surgical tools. You could just sit. Your back will kill you,
and
but
just clean.
Yeah.
Like for the autoclave, I can do that.
take out the ovaries and testes that get stuck in the surgical tubes.
Oh God, there's
The surgical tools. Yeah.
yeah. No,
That's always fun.
We've all been there. We've all done that stuff.
Good time.
Yeah, it was
Good
fun.
times. Good times.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
This is
you.
great.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, no problem. All right. Enjoy. All right. Comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. And links down below for all the charity stuff that you can do and help cats. Bye, guys.
Ooh, ooh.